popular scam called Chadona, in which criminals draw away shoppers and steal from them. The World Bank has commended Zimbabwe for taking steps to address its domestic debt, saying government's fiscal reforms are a step in the right direction. And the Zimbabwe Warriors have received a boost at AFCON with the return of senior players Knowledge Musona and Divine Lunga, together with young star Sean Fusire. The trio are now available for selection to do battle against Angola on Friday after passing a fitness test. Our top story this evening, the festive season got into sixth gear today. Now, despite the early downpour, people flocked flea markets doing Christmas shopping for their loved ones. As become a tradition, many travel to the countryside. Tafaras Mochiwe sheds more light on the transport shortages as well as last-minute Christmas shopping.
Huge crowds in the central business district of Harare as the heavy downpour earlier this morning could not deter people from doing their Christmas shopping.
As soon as the rain ceased, tight crowds hustle for space with punctuated movement along Harare's pavements as people flocked markets, the pinnacle of festive vibes. Seeing the heavy downpour this morning, Sekuru Norman thought of buying fertilizer. When he got home, his niece and nephew told him it's not Christmas without gifts. Moved by love and sincere desire to make his kindred happy, he scoured around for some dollars and immediately left Noton to Harare, shopping for his beloved.
Pererwa panguva yavati ko zvinozora mangwana zvarasvika tinopfekei ndokuchiona kuti kwakumhanya-mhanya kutsvagawo masensi kuti ndiuyewo ndovatsvagirawo zvokuita sei zvokupfeka ndosaka maona ndapinda nevazukuru.
For Josiah, the early rains forerun a good business day. After the rains, more people came to buy at his shop. For him, there will be no holiday, as he looks to capitalize on the shopping spree.
Right now, people vakutanga kuuya zvambinge zviri low nenyaya yekuti mvura inge ichinaya, but right now we are receiving people. Saka tinotarisira kuti Christmas yegore rineri ichange ichinakidza nekuti we are expecting volumes of people.
Andrew says business is not panning out as they expected. Like Jonah, he says it will be business as usual during the holidays. While some are shopping, others are making their way to preferred Christmas destinations, mostly the rural areas. But that also comes with a transport problem because of demand. At the glance of a bus arriving at Mbare bus terminus, chaos ensued.
Demand for buses has surged at Mbare bus terminus as people jostle to board buses. Bus operators are doing their best, as you can see, to try and rectify the chaos that's currently obtaining.
While bus fares for some routes went up, the biggest challenge was shortage of transport.
Yes, transport hapana. Arunguwa rikatouya pane pressure yakawandisa vanhu vakawandisa mabhazi asitokwana ngekuti bhazi rikatouya pane pressure yakawandisa tamashayo embavha saka tisitokwanisa tozi nhasi toendere kumusha kwacho.
Pressure to board a bus. Cunning thieves would relish this scenario. Tendai Machia has been driving for 6 years. He encouraged fellow drivers to adhere to road traffic rules, urging each other not to speed in a bid to cover more trips.
Vanhu vanenge vachimhanya kuda kumhanyira kuti tiende tichidzoka vopedzisira vakuita matsaona nenyaya yekuda kukurumidza kusvika vachidzokera.
At Copacabana Market, thousands flocked in doing their last-minute shopping. Space was hard to find as money exchanged hands ahead of the Christmas holiday.
Tight crowds and restless movement filled the market as buyers jostle for goods in a race against time ahead of the Christmas holiday tomorrow. Tafaras Wichiwa for ZTN Prime in Harare.
Now, as everyone is preparing to travel and they are doing their last-minute shopping, not everyone is as innocent as they look. Now, as travelers are making their way to their various destinations, they often become targets for thieves. One of the most popular scams is known as Chadona, which has caught Mbari Musika as well as Harare CBD by storm. But police say these criminals' days are numbered. Our correspondent, Lato Nyango, gives us more.
Life in Mbare is slowly becoming dog-eat-dog, with people employing sinister means to get money. Chadona, which is a Shona word meaning something has fallen, has become one of Zimbabwe's most common street scams. It usually starts when someone finds a wallet or purse with money or valuables dropped on the ground. Pretending to be a good Samaritan, the scammer invites an unsuspecting passers-by to share the load. Moments later, the victim is tricked into handing over their own cash, phone, or any valuables, and the scammers vanish. As the festive season is upon us, police want citizens to be wary. To the criminals, they say their time is up. National Police spokesperson Commissioner Ponyat strongly warned against the notorious gang in Mbare.
Zvokuti mimi mauya pano mune $50 yenyu, mune $100 yenyu, mosangana nemunhu anoti einda anonga mari yakawandisa handikwanisi kuidya ndega, handei pakona apo. Asi tichinopinda pakona apo iwe unosiya zvese zvauinazvo zvinosanganisira mari. Kana tapedza kugovana wozouya wotora. Asi chinozoshamisa anoti iwe tanga kuenda. Muchingosvika ikoko uchidzoka mabhegi hapana, mari hapana. Ndo chadonhaka ichocho muri kuzviona here vabereki. Saka toda kuti mungwarire izvozvo. Takanzwa mbiri yekuno kuMbare svondo rapera kuti kune vanga vachizviita. Saka namanga muchizviita zvapera nhasi.
Passengers Association of Zimbabwe President Tafada Goliath warned travelers manna only falls from the heavens, not in the streets of Harare.
ngavaende kunokira bhazi vasada kupinzwa mabasa ukangopinzwa basa seuda kufamba ukamboitika sei iwe wega wega ndiwo waita kana kiraki nekuda kupinzwa basa pane ruzhinji rwese rusina mabasa. Vanhu ngavangwarire kuti makorero aripo kuMbare, vangoziva kukwira bhazi vachienda kwavarikuenda nekuti kuMbare hakupinzwa vanhu mabasa sezvaaudzwa chadonha ende tinoshayana.
Loaders in Mbare, however, feel this holiday police are keeping thieves at bay.
Hapana chikumbonetsa vanhu vari kufamba zvakanaka, mabhegi haasi kudhonzwa, malagegizi akurongedzwa nemakondakta zvakanaka-naka, vanhu vari kufamba.
A vendor, Maisara, said the problems are emanating from lack of viable business during the holidays.
Business hatina kunyatsokumira zvakanaka mubusiness. Mubusiness muri kurwadza. Tikumbotatarika kwana kuzvikoro kwatifungi kuti vanoenda ba. Munatidzikisirawo zvikoro izvi. Mukatotiuraya tiri mustress kutotiuraya kutipedzesa. Hakuna mari tinobva hatina kushanda.
Good luck always accompanied a man who doesn't include it this time. And certainly when you meet a person in emergency, ask for your question.
Now, apart from the Christmas cheer that's going on in the country, the recapitalization of the country's railway giant is on course, with the National Railways of Zimbabwe (NRZ) entering into a public-private partnership with Zimasco to refurbish wagons and locomotives, a move expected to improve operational efficiency and position rail as a preferred mode of bulk cargo transportation.
The country's railway giant, the National Railways of Zimbabwe, has refurbished over 80 wagons and locomotives as part of a targeted recapitalization drive meant to boost efficiency in the movement of bulk cargo. The development comes at a time government has moved to restrict the weight carried by haulage trucks to protect road infrastructure, while the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development works on the rehabilitation of the country's major highways, a shift expected to drive more cargo to rail.
So to avoid these derailments, we have to machine the wheel or to reprofile the wheel. And after the reprofile is done, we then have to put the bearings, because each wheel has got 2 bearings just like on a car. So basically this is what we do in this shop. So each wagon carries 4 wheels, because it's got 2 bogies and each bogie has got 2, so the sum total is 4. So basically this is what we do in this shop.
As part of the refurbishment process, wagon wheels undergo profiling to improve durability and safety, ensuring the rolling stock meets operational demands locally and across the region.
Okay, what you see behind me is a new monoblock that is being bored, because when you buy these monoblocks, the bore on the center is too small. So basically why we do that is so that at least we use the axles that we reclaim. So now, after we've received the new monoblock, we measure the size of the axle, and then we bolt the monoblocks to the size of the axle, so that we can then assemble and fit them together. And then after machining, we then assemble the wheel. And when the wheel is assembled, we take it to our hack and shed machine, where we cut the profile of the wheel so that our wheel is able to move on the rail. Otherwise, if the profile is not correct, we'll find out we have a lot of derailments.
NRZ says the ongoing works are positioning the parastatal to take advantage of increased demand for rail services, particularly as restrictions on heavy haulage trucks are expected to redirect bulk cargo from roads to rail in line with infrastructure protection efforts.
Therefore, we are increasing our capacity in order to meet that anticipated increased demand. We don't want to come short when it comes to ability to uplift customer business. So we are increasing our capacity through regeneration of our wagons and also our locomotives so that they can be up to speed with the requirements that we anticipate under NDS2.
He said they are hoping to complete the refurbishment of locomotives by April next year.
What we have done now is to refurbish 5 locomotives of the 8 that we anticipate to complete by April next year. What that means is we improve and increase the number and amount of locomotives and wagons so that we can uplift even new business that is coming up. We have other organizations in the manufacturing and mining sectors that are coming on board, and we also have regional business.
With government pushing for reduced road damage through haulage weight controls and accelerating highway rehabilitation, NRZ's cost-effective refurbishment program is expected to strengthen rail's role as a reliable alternative for bulk cargo transportation in line with the broader infrastructure development agenda under NDS2.
Following the recent move by government to restrict the weight that haulage trucks can carry on our roads, the National Railways of Zimbabwe is set to benefit immensely from an increase in freight services. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
Now, the Zimbabwe Community Health Intervention Health Lobby Group is moving in to intensify the campaign against drugs and substance abuse during this festive season through roadshows that seek to raise awareness on the dangers of drug abuse. Speaking at one of the roadshows in Harare's hopefully high-density suburb this week, Zichire Director Walter Chikanya told ZTN Prime that these campaigns are part of efforts to support the government in its fight to combat drug and substance abuse.
In the face of a deepening drug and substance abuse crisis in the country, Zichire has stepped its efforts to raise awareness this festive season, mainly targeting young people. With support from the National AIDS Council, the roadshows are part of ongoing efforts to fight drug abuse and also provide sexual and reproductive health services.
What we are trying to do as an organization is to make sure that we reach out to the community as we reach the festive season. We want to make sure that people do understand that they need to abstain from using illicit drugs. We are looking at people now having a risk after using or abusing drugs. We see people then getting into risk of contracting HIV. I'm happy today that we are here with a program that was funded, by National AIDS Council, our partner that has said go out and talk to young people.
The use of drug and substance abuse is also linked to high-risk behaviors such as sharing of injections and engaging in unprotected sexual activities. Jens Zichire is offering HIV testing and counseling services. National AIDS Council attributes the high HIV incidence rates in young people to drug and substance abuse, underscoring the need to address the link between drug use and HIV through an integrated approach.
Victim-friendly units, nevanhu vekumadrugs. Tichiti isusu say no to chi? Say no to?
This year alone, Zichire has been conducting a series of anti-drug use campaigns in the country's various provinces. Through interactive performances, workshops, and exhibitions, Zichire reached out to thousands of people, sharing information on the risk of drug abuse and the importance of making informed choices. The roadshows also provides a platform for young people to share their experiences and pledge to stay drug-free.
Only talking about drug and substance use, but we're also saying, you know, once you have used those drugs, it then disturbs your mental state. You are not in a good position to make decisions in terms of safe sex practices. So we want to encourage all the people to come and get the information.
Approximately 60% of admissions in psychiatric institutions are from drug-related conditions, with the Ministry of Health reporting that the institutions were overwhelmed. In the coming year, Zichire is pledged to continue to intensify its efforts and believes with an integrated approach and increased interventions, Zimbabwe can go a long way in managing this challenge of drug and substance use. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirira Nsingo.
You are watching Newsplus. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Festive is here, Shah. First Street lights up, and suddenly the vibe is back. It stretches from Harare to Hollywood, even to Old Trafford. Jesse Giri Festive. All I want this festive season? The stories that keep us hooked. The ngoma, the rhythm, the laughter, the drama, the goals, the world-class entertainment that brightens up the holidays for the whole family. All I want is DSTV.
Is your company reshaping Zimbabwe's future? Have you launched a groundbreaking product, a revolutionary service, or transformative technology? Zim Papers calls on you to nominate your innovation for the inaugural and prestigious Zim Papers Innovation Awards 2025. This is your platform, your moment to gain national acclaim and showcase how you are moving Zimbabwe forward. Don't just be an innovator, be a vanguard of progress. Nominate yourself or a deserving company now at innovation.awards@zimpapers.co.zw. Nominations close on 30 December 2025. Zim Papers Innovation Awards 2025, championing the ideas that move us forward.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now, a quick look at what's happening on the business front. Zimbabwe's economy grew in the third quarter of 2025, with gross domestic product at current prices reaching 392 billion ZEG, up by 5% from 413 billion ZEG increase in the second quarter of 2025. Now, at constant prices, GDP stood at 18 billion ZEG. That was supported by strong contributions from utilities, finance, manufacturing, mining, and agriculture. Still in business, the World Bank has commended Zimbabwe for taking steps to address its domestic debt, saying the government's fiscal reforms are a step in the right direction. In its latest review, the bank said it is encouraged by the inclusion of a specific provision in the 2026 national budget to clear domestic arrears, a move it described as evidence of government's commitment to responsible debt management.
There was a domestic arrears clearance strategy that was annexed to the budget that talked about the size of the challenge. It talked about the trajectory for repayment of these domestic expenditure arrears, but it also touched on potential ways to limit the future buildup of expenditure arrears. And we think that this is critical going forward.
In business, government has placed banking sector reform at the center of the National Development Strategy 2, targeting financial inclusion of over 90% by 2030. The 2026 to 2030 blueprint prioritizes wider access to affordable financial services, digital banking, and increased lending to productive sectors such as agriculture and small to medium enterprises. Now, NDS2 also introduces risk-based capital frameworks, lower transaction charges, and fintech regulatory sandboxes, pushing banks to rely more on lending and digital transformations, or rather transactions. Experts say the reforms will deepen inclusion but require rapid adaptation by financial institutions. In mining, Zimbabwe's mineral export earnings rose by 10% in the 11 months to November 2025 compared to the same period in 2024, driven mainly by higher platinum group metal prices. Figures from the Minerals Marketing Corporation of Zimbabwe show export earnings increased to 3.4 billion from $2.8 billion last year. Platinum Group Metals mate exports surged to $1.3 billion, up from $875.6 million that was in the same period in the prior year. This was despite mixed volumes across the entire sector. Meanwhile, lithium mineral contributed nearly 16% of total earnings, while ferrochrome and coke exports also recorded year-on-year growth. Mining remains Zimbabwe's largest foreign currency earner, contributing over 70% of national export earnings. Over in Uganda, they have secured a $2 billion loan from Vitol Bahrain, a subsidiary of global commodities trader Vitol Group, to accelerate petroleum infrastructure development. Now, the financing will support construction of a domestic crude oil refinery, fuel storage facilities, pipeline links, and related transport infrastructure. The loan has a 7-year tenure with an interest rate of about 4.9%. Now, the refinery, planned to produce 60,000 barrels per day, will complement a separate $4 billion investment by Alpha MBM Investments, with Uganda, the national oil company, retaining a 40% stake. And still in business, but now over in Nigeria, Nigeria's Hess Energies has obtained a $750 million loan from African Export-Import Bank to expand domestic energy production. Now, the 5-year reserve-based facility will support crude oil output of 100,000 barrels per day and gas production of 250 million cubic meters, while refinancing existing debt and funding expansion. Hess Energy currently produces about 50,000 barrels of oil per day and 120 million cubic meters of gas, mainly from oil mining lease 17 acquired from Shell and Total. The financing is expected to boost electricity generation and domestic fuel supply, consolidating the company's growth. And with our conclusion at business, we take a look at what's happening in sport. Now, as Zimbabwe Warriors prepare for their next face-off against Angola this Friday, football fans are quite optimistic that the boys will do well, given their performance in their opening match against Egypt. This is what the fans had to say.
Position, it was up, down, chest, down, it was almost 50-50 situation. Yes, he started on counter. That is if she has his tight account, perfect 15 minutes, as you talk about it, hold on, no border. I ain't talking long, but nothing to do, I keep forward. So, I really somebody performance here, I do hope.
I'm sure we'll fight. Like, wakomana vedu vakatamba zvakanyanyisa. Zvinhu zvakaito ndaisa expect kuti tinogona kutoitawo 2-1 against Egypt, because Egypt is a very good team. But we tried our best, and then ndiri well done to our guys. Apo mudhara ndiri kuti paAngola apo obviously truva takunopedza navo ipapo. Because nematambiro atakaita paEgypt, paAngola, I'm sure it's a walkover.
Ini ndakanakirwa negoalkeeper wedu akaseva singaiti. Goalkeeper wedu akatamba bhora rakatifadza. Kana kumberi kuya midfielders nemastriker aiwa vakatamba bhora rakatifadza. Kuziva takajiwa zvedu but isusu aiwa taimprove pasoka. Tinoenda tichine mukana. Tinoenda zvekuti iyoyi Angola ikai toona tichibuda tobuda.
Now, over at the AFCON, the Warriors have received a boost with the return of senior players Knowledge Musona and Divine Lunga to fitness, along with youngster Sean Fusire. The trio missed out on the Warriors' opening match against Egypt on Monday. This was due to injury, but are now available for selection after passing a fitness test. The Warriors completed full training from their new base in Marrakesh as they prepared to face Angola on Friday. Now, defender Munashe Garananga did not take part in today's session with his condition being monitored. The Warriors are going to play Angola at the Stade de Marrakesh at 3 p.m. That is on Friday. Now, Mighty Warriors veteran striker Rutendo Makore has urged younger players to maintain discipline and fight against stereotypes to reach their full potential in football. Makore's enduring quality was on full display at this season as she snapped up the Zimbabwe Women's Premier Soccer League Golden Boot with 28 goals to lead Black Rhinos Queens to a 4th place finish. Makore says that applying discipline and respecting the game has kept her thriving to this point.
Saka chandinongoda kukurudzira girl child ndechekungoti age is just a number. Age is just a number. Kana uchikwanisa kuzviitira semwanasikana zviitire. Ende zvakatipa simbo sevanhukadzi kuti tinoshanda tichiziva kuti at the end of the year tine zvatinowanawo tine zvatinogamuchidzwawo. Sezvanambotaura paya kuti I just believe in working hard nekuseta matargets muupenyu hwangu, especially inini hangu, because I have a family to cater for. Saka ndinoshanda nichiziva kuti vana vangu kumba vada kudya, vada kurarama, vada kuenda kuchikoro. Saka whatever I do, ndinongoisa 100% effort.
The player has also been involved off the field of play, with her leadership and contribution being recognized across the continent. She was one of the football legends selected by CAF for the CAF Under-17 Girls Integrated Football Tournament and presented the trophy to the champions. She expressed hope that this will open more doors for female footballers.
Inini ndingangoti secret yangu is working hard. Nekuteerera macoaches. Kuti chero ndiani nani anenge ari pamberi pako ingomurespekta sekupiwa kwaanenge aita masimba acho nekuzvishandira wega. Hazvirevo kuti paunonzi kutraining nacoach ndopaunofanira kungotraina chete. Even uri kumba unokwanisa kuita matraining sessions ako wega. And inini hangu personally ndinoseta matargets ekuziva kuti 2025 I want to achieve this. Saka ndo zvandoda kubatsirawo vaning'ina vangu kuti one, discipline runokusvitsa kure, nekushanda zvine simba, nekuremekedza even vabereki vako, even vanhu vemunharaunda chaimo chaimo. Ndo vanotibatsira kuti tisvike patiri uye ndo vakandibatsira kuti ndisvike pandiri.
Now, the Northern Region Soccer League has unveiled a landmark sponsorship deal that could actually transform the face of football in the region. It was announced during the NRSL end-of-season awards over the weekend. Now, the lucrative package is expected to significantly boost player incentive and league development. Well, with that, we conclude tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyode. Here's to hoping you do have a festive holiday with your families. From the ZTN family to yours, enjoy your holidays and stay safe on the roads. Good evening.